Badu. You know, that she's a homie too, but I told her, you can't get nowhere near me with that. Nowhere. That shit she be doing is crazy.
It is what it is. It doesn't belong to us anymore. And, you know, once something goes out in the world, it takes a life of its own. It's an energy of its own.
How do you describe it?
What, my power?
Yeah.
I think it's indescribable. And the bedroom, that's not where you're gonna find it, because my magic doesn't lie between my thighs, it lies between my ears.
The latest news about Erykah Badu is leaving fans speechless.
Be regular until they start wearing turbans,
colorful
yarmulkes.
socks.
The spiritual queen who transforms every man she touches has been hiding a violent side that goes far beyond her conscious persona.
I was honest, and that is what I've continued to carry with me, being honest, you know, in any kind of way.
This is the untold story of how America's most beloved neo-soul icon became the woman her own lovers are afraid to speak about. Let's get into it. Erykah Abby Wright was born on February 26, 1971, in South Dallas, Texas, into a world that would shape her into one of music's most enigmatic figures. Her father, William Wright Jr., was largely absent from her childhood, spending considerable time in jail for reasons the family never fully understood. In 1975, when Erykah was just 4 years old, he vanished completely, not to return for 20 years. Her mother, Colleen Maria Gibson, was a respected actress in Dallas's local theater scene, and she raised Erykah, her younger sister, Nayrock, born in 1974, and eventually her brother Even, born in 1983, almost single-handedly. But Colleen didn't raise these children alone. The maternal and paternal grandmothers, Thelma Gibson and Viola Wright, stepped in to help, becoming the stabilizing forces in young Erykah's life while her mother worked long hours on stage. Although the family struggled financially, everything in their home was neat and clean, giving Erykah no sense that they were poor. What she had instead was culture, art, and a mother who believed in exposing her children to beauty. At age 4, little Erykah began singing and dancing at the Dallas Theater Center and the Black Academy of Arts and Letters under the guidance of her godmother, Gwen Hargrove, and her uncle Curtis King, who founded TBAAL. Her first major role came at age 6 in a Martin Luther King Jr. Recreational Center production of Really Rosie. Young Erykah was tomboyish and something of a class clown, but she was serious about her artistic training. She devoted herself to perfecting dance techniques, studying Martha Graham and Katherine Dunham, while also practicing ballet, tap, and modern dance. She even joined a dancing troupe called Mahogany, learning first under Dr. Van Gilbert and later with the Etta Piper Jameson Company. By 1982, at just 11 years old, she had started rapping and hip-hopping, absorbing the emerging culture that was exploding across America. Erykah also expanded her cultural horizons by attending festivals around South Dallas, particularly the Harambee Festival, where she developed a deep interest in African culture and dress. The tall headwear she would one day make iconic originated from these childhood visits, where she saw Black women celebrating their heritage with pride and beauty. During her teenage years, Erykah made a profound decision about her identity. She changed the spelling of her first name from Erykah to Erykah, rejecting what she believed was her slave name. The term Ka signified the inner self in Egyptian language. She then adopted the surname Badu.
And tell us, now you changed your name and you chose Badu. Why did you choose that name?
Well, because it sounds good.
Yeah.
But Badu comes from a jazz riff that I sing. Badu, Badu.
Badu, Badu, Badu.
Right, Badu, Badu, Badu. And my father wrote me a letter about 6 weeks ago and told me that Badu in Arabic means to manifest truth in life.
When it came time for high school, Erykah chose Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing and Visual Arts, a prestigious magnet school in Dallas that nurtured artistic talent. There, surrounded by other young artists who shared her passion, she flourished. In 1989, her senior year, she made another life-changing decision. She became a vegetarian, committing to a path of holistic wellness that would define her entire approach to life. After graduating, Erykah enrolled at Grambling State University, a historically black institution in Louisiana. She majored in theater and minored in quantum physics, a combination that perfectly captured her blend of artistic creativity and intellectual curiosity. But by 1993, after 2 years of study, Erykah realized that formal education was keeping her from her true calling. She left Grambling without completing her degree and returned to Dallas, determined to pursue music full-time. The decision meant struggle. Erykah worked as a drama and dance teacher at the South Dallas Cultural Center, sharing her passion with children while barely scraping by financially. She also waited tables at coffee shops, often working as frother of the month while dreaming of something bigger. But she was building something important during those lean years, a sound, a vision, and a persona that would soon change music history. In 1993, newly returned to Dallas and determined to make it in music, Erykah formed a hip-hop duo with her cousin Robert Free Bradford called Erykah Free. The partnership was organic. They had grown up together, and Free understood her artistic vision. They began touring around Texas, performing at small venues and house parties, slowly building a local following. Together, they recorded a 19-song demo called Country Cousins that captured their unique blend of hip-hop, jazz, and soul. Erykah Free began landing impressive opening slots for major touring acts passing through Texas: Wu-Tang Clan, A Tribe Called Quest, Arrested Development, and Mobb Deep. These weren't just random opportunities. Erykah's stage presence was undeniable. Even as an opener, she commanded audiences in ways that made people stop and pay attention. Several small record labels began showing interest, but Erykah was strategic. She knew she needed the right deal, not just any deal. In March 1995, Erykah Free's big break came at South by Southwest in Austin. Erykah placed their demo CD directly into the hands of Mobb Deep's manager, explaining her vision with the same magnetic presence she brought to the stage. The manager was impressed enough to pass it along to Kedar Massenburg, a young music executive who was managing rising R&B star D'Angelo and building what he called the neo-soul movement. When Massenburg played the Erykah Free demo in his car for D'Angelo, the singer's reaction was immediate and enthusiastic. He recognized Erykah's talent, but he also saw something his cousin couldn't provide: solo star power. In November 1995, D'Angelo performed at the Caravan of Dreams in Fort Worth, and Erykah Free opened the show. Massenburg was in attendance, and what he saw confirmed his instincts. It wasn't so much the music, but more her presence and the way she commanded the audiences, he later told Essence magazine. They looked as though they were hypnotized. After the show, Massenburg approached Erykah with an offer: sign with his startup label, Kedar Entertainment, as a solo artist. It was a devastating decision. Erykah and Free had built everything together, shared the dream, struggled through the lean years. But Free, in an act of unselfishness that Erykah never forgot, told her to go for it. He understood what she was too loyal to admit, that her talent was being held back by their partnership, and she needed room to become who she was meant to be. Erykah Free disbanded. The decision created tensions that would take years to heal, though Free did eventually receive production and songwriting credits on her debut album. Erykah signed with Kedar Entertainment, which had a distribution deal with Universal Records, giving her access to major label resources while maintaining the creative freedom of a small independent label. Massenburg's first move was strategic and brilliant. He arranged for Erykah to record a duet with D'Angelo, a remake of Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell's Your Precious Love for the soundtrack of the 1996 comedy film High School High. The song, released on September 10, 1996, showcased the undeniable chemistry between two artists who would define neo-soul. Although the movie was quickly forgotten, the duet introduced Erykah to a wider audience and established her credibility alongside D'Angelo, who had already scored a hit with his 1995 debut, Brown Sugar. While D'Angelo's album climbed the charts, Erykah was still working as a waitress at a Dallas coffee shop, listening to Brown Sugar during her shifts and dreaming of her own breakthrough. Massenburg was building buzz slowly and deliberately. At the 1996 Soul Train Music Awards, he distributed 1,000 copies of Erykah's debut single, On and On, to industry insiders, creating anticipation before the song had even been officially released. From January to October 1996, Erykah recorded her debut album, Baduism, across sessions in Dallas, New York, and Philadelphia. The album featured an eclectic mix of 11 different producers, yet it maintained a remarkably cohesive sound, languid, jazzy, deeply spiritual. Erykah wrote nearly all the songs herself, drawing from her studies of philosophy, African spirituality, and her own experiences navigating love and identity. The Philadelphia sessions were particularly significant. Erykah flew to Philly specifically to work with the Roots, who were still bubbling under but already respected in hip-hop circles. She asked them to jam with her on slow, jazz-influenced hip-hop tracks that became some of the album's standouts. The Roots drummer Questlove would later become part of the Soulquarians collective, and Erykah would be its only female member. On and On was released as the lead single in December 1996, and everything changed. The song was unlike anything on radio, sparse, hypnotic, with Erykah's voice floating over a simple combination of drums, bass, and guitar. It reached number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became unavoidable. Radio stations that usually ignored experimental R&B couldn't resist the song's pull. MTV put it into heavy rotation. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know, who is Erykah Badu? Erykah Badu had arrived. In less than 2 years, she had gone from unknown waitress to Grammy-winning superstar, from local Dallas talent to the face of a musical movement. She had created a sound that was simultaneously ancient and futuristic, spiritual and sexual, accessible and mysterious. But as her star rose, the complications in her personal life were just beginning. Relationships that would become as famous as her music, and controversies that would challenge everything her fans thought they knew about her. In 2023, Erykah joined Tamron Hall on Hall's daytime TV show, where she gave Hall and viewers insight into the urban legend surrounding Badu's unforgettable presence. What adds even more to the Badu legend is that the singer almost immediately sold out of the incense she released back in 2020, which was allegedly made in the scent of her lady parts.
My new fragrance, Badu or Badu Pussycat, sold out.
It's gone.
What? And I figured, like, the world deserves it.
However, while speaking to Hall, the singer made it clear that her superpower has nothing to do with intimacy. She stated,
I think it's indescribable. And the bedroom, that's not where you're gonna find it, because my magic doesn't lie between my thighs, it lies between my ears.
Badu's confident response received endless applause from the audience, who seemed rather enchanted by the 51-year-old's presence. Meanwhile, Cameron also spoke on Erykah's effect on men, He was surprisingly critical of Badu's ability to lure in multiple men on one of the episodes of his It Is What It Is podcast with Mace. In one of the episodes, they spoke about who's more attractive between Lori Harvey and Amber Rose when Badu's name came up.
Be regular until they start wearing turbans,
colorful
yarmulkes.
socks.
What made Cameron's observations particularly compelling was how specific they were. He wasn't talking about general relationship changes that happen when people fall in love. Instead, he was describing something far more dramatic: a complete rewiring of personality, style, and spiritual beliefs. The rapper seemed genuinely mystified by this pattern, treating it as something supernatural rather than natural romantic evolution. His tone suggested he'd witnessed this transformation multiple times, making his reluctance to get involved seem more like self-preservation than disrespect. The timing of these comments couldn't be ignored either. Cameron was speaking from a position of industry knowledge, having watched several high-profile relationships unfold in real time. His perspective carried weight because he'd seen the before and after versions of these men, making his observations less about speculation and more about documented patterns he'd personally witnessed. Looking at Badu's dating history, Cameron's concerns suddenly seemed less like paranoia and more like pattern recognition. Since the 1990s, the four-time Grammy-winning artist has publicly dated several industry greats, and in many cases, these relationships coincided with dramatic shifts in her partner's public personas. The consistency of these transformations across different relationships and different decades suggested something beyond coincidence. For starters, Erykah Badu and André 3000 had one of the most famous love affairs in 90s hip-hop. Badu, in a 2020 interview for Rolling Stone, revisited her bond with the Outkast rapper and talked to Summer Walker about their relationship. Then and now. The intimacy in her voice was unmistakable when discussing André. She revealed how recently he'd been in Dallas, attending her grandmother's memorial service, demonstrating the deep, family-like bond they'd maintained long after their romantic relationship ended. Their connection had evolved into something that transcended typical ex-partner dynamics, becoming more like chosen family. Badu described how their initial attraction was immediate and powerful, bypassing the usual friendship foundation that many relationships are built on. Badu and Dre dated for about 5 years, and they share a son, 7. She revealed that she still has strong feelings for her ex-beau, even though now they're friends.
But I think I may be one of Andre 3000's biggest fans outside of being family.
Right.
Super inspiring.
When they met, André was in the process of finding his true self, and with the help of Erykah, he made a smooth transition into the man he is today. Based on reports, Erykah was actually the reason why he ditched his jerseys and baggy jeans and found peace in more eclectic fashion choices. He also stated that it was because of Erykah that he started experimenting with his musical sound. However, after they broke up, it's like André's career just went down the drain. Following this, Erykah linked up with Common. Their relationship, spanning from 2000 to 2002, represented another chapter in Badu's pattern of deeply transformative romantic connections. Common and the singer-songwriter's bond was built on intense creative collaboration, with the pair working together on multiple projects that showcased their artistic and personal chemistry. Their partnership on the Brown Sugar Films soundtrack became a defining moment for both artists, blending their talents in ways that created something entirely new. The creative synergy between them was undeniable. They collaborated on the soundtrack's lead single, crafting a love letter to hip-hop that felt deeply personal despite its universal themes. Their work together extended beyond that single project, with Badu contributing to his album Electric Circus on a track that further demonstrated their artistic compatibility. These collaborations weren't just professional arrangements. They were intimate creative expressions that reflected the depth of their personal connection. But beneath the artistic success lay a more complex emotional reality. Common's later revelations about their relationship painted a picture of profound love, followed by devastating loss. In 2019, he opened up about the heartbreak he experienced after their split, describing Badu as his first real love in terms that suggested complete vulnerability and emotional surrender.
My team was like, you are not looking Erykah in her eyes.
The way Common described falling in love with Badu revealed the intensity of her influence. He spoke about being completely open and floating, suggesting a state of emotional and spiritual suspension that left him utterly transformed by the experience. This wasn't casual dating or even serious romance. It was the kind of all-consuming love that fundamentally alters how someone sees themselves and the world around them. When their relationship ended, the impact on Common was devastating. At 27 or 28 years old, he found himself in what he described as a haze, going through the motions of life without really living. After Common, Erykah Badu had a brief fling with rapper the D.O.C. in 2003, and that tryst resulted in Erykah's daughter, Puma. In the years since, Erykah has had no interest in getting back together with the D.O.C. They have shared parental responsibilities for their child, but that is the extent of their relationship.
Baduism, one of my favorite albums of all time. Erykah Badu, how did y'all first meet?
Yeah, I knew Badu. We was kids together.
Tracy Lynn Curry, better known as the D.O.C., quickly rose to fame in the late 80s as a foundational member of the influential hip-hop group N.W.A. Throughout his career, he penned some of the genre's most iconic hits and worked closely with the legendary Dr. Dre on several albums. In addition to his romantic dalliance with Badu, the D.O.C. also garnered attention for his relationships with other high-profile women, including singer Michelle. After this, Erykah Badu got into a relationship with Electronica from 2004 until 2009. At the time, Jay was still an underground artist, known for his mysterious persona and intricate lyricism. He didn't have a major label deal, but he was already building a cult following. Badu, on the other hand, was an established icon in neo-soul, a woman whose influence stretched beyond music into fashion, culture, and even the way people spoke about spirituality. Their relationship wasn't just another celebrity romance. It felt like a merging of two deeply creative, deeply unconventional minds. They kept their relationship relatively private, but fans could sense how much Jay was under Badu's influence. Like many of her past partners, he seemed to undergo a transformation while they were together. He moved differently, spoke differently, and his music took on an even more mystical, abstract quality. People started to joke that Badu had some kind of spell over the men she dated, changing their energy completely. By the time they welcomed their daughter, Mars Merkaba, in 2009, it seemed like they were building something serious. But just as quickly as their relationship started, it was over. For years, there wasn't much talk about why they split. Badu had always been careful about what she revealed to the public, and Electronica wasn't the type to give interviews about his personal life. But then, in 2020, he made a statement that changed everything. Out of nowhere, he claimed that Badu had stabbed him with a knife during an argument. He didn't give any details, no explanation of what led to it, how serious the injury was, or even when exactly it happened. But the claim itself was enough to make people start asking questions. At first, many fans brushed it off as a joke. Electronica has a cryptic way of speaking, and some assumed he was just exaggerating. Others thought it might have been a playful situation that he was blowing out of proportion. But then there were those who took it seriously, pointing out that if the roles were reversed, if a male artist had casually admitted to stabbing his famous girlfriend, the conversation would have been very different. some fans began questioning whether Badu had a history of being aggressive in relationships, and if this was just the first time someone spoke about it publicly. One of the biggest reasons the situation didn't turn into a scandal was that Jay himself didn't seem interested in making it one. He mentioned it and moved on, as if it wasn't something he wanted to unpack. This led to even more speculation. Was he trying to protect her? The two have a child together. Through all of these unsuccessful partnerships, Badu has stayed unapologetic. She doesn't back down easily, and she doesn't seem to care much about what people think. But at the same time, these controversies have undoubtedly affected the way she's perceived. To some, she's still the same bold, free-spirited artist they've always loved. But to others, she's someone who constantly pushes the boundaries of what's acceptable, sometimes in a way that's thought-provoking, and other times in a way that just feels reckless. So who is the real Erykah Badu? Is she the soulful, spiritual artist we all fell in love with? Or is there a darker side to her that has been overlooked for years? Her influence on the music industry is undeniable, but her relationships, controversies, and feuds paint a far more complicated picture. Whether she's misunderstood or hiding something, one thing is clear: Erykah Badu is not who we thought she was. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.